Hi, my name is Diego Cardenas, and I'm going to try to explain to you the reason why I did a Cannonball run and the history behind my attempt. It all started back in 2017 2018 when Mr. Elon Musk decided to put a cross continental ride across the US. So I just decided to start taking the car out to places, and one summer we decided to take a cross country trip on our Tesla, and it was a very fun trip. During the winter of 2019, after many years in development, the LiveWire was announced to be sold for model year 2020, which is where I literally jumped into being one of the first ones in Southern California to get one of these exciting new bikes. Since then, I've just modified and changed my LiveWire to make it more mine. I've built a social media following, both on Instagram and Facebook, and since then, I've had exposure to riding around with celebrities, such as our dear friend here, Robert Patrick. You may know him as Terminator 2 from the Terminator series, and he's a great guy to ride with.
LiveWire, I'm with you. There you go. We just rode around LA on the LiveWire. We had a great time. What a wonderful bike. Have fun, you guys. I'll ride with you soon. Adios.
You may or may not recognize these guys, but one of them is Obi-Wan Kenobi, the other one is Charlie Borman. They're both adventure riders, and they've taken the bike pretty much across the world, up and down, left and right, and they had a good series going on called the Long Way Up series, where they've taken two bikes just like mine at the Livewire
See
and
you. Good
modified
trip.
them through Harley Davidson Engineering Services, and they rode those bikes all the way from Patagonia or Tierra del Fuego all the way to Los Angeles, California. I was lucky enough, due to my relationship with Harley Davidson and what I've been doing on social media, to get invited to pretty much the last recording of their last episode of the movie where they rode into Los Angeles from Arizona. And I had a great time with the guys, met them, shook hands, saw their bikes firsthand. But the most important thing is that I was able to stand in front of them and ask them questions such as how hard was it? Is it impossible to do EV road tripping? Knowing the limitations that they had, which were a lot harder than the ones that I was going to be facing, they pretty much gave me a thumbs up. They said, "Go for it, dude. You got the infrastructure here in the States. It's just a matter of planning it. And if you can, withstand the pace, depending on what you're planning on doing, then you can make a easy cross country trip around the United States." Now the question is, which route was the best? What route was the one I wanted to take? What did I want to do as a rider with this new electric motorcycle? Which, if we look at the specifications, is only giving you, close to 146 miles on, surface streets when you're doing stop and go traffic, and a little bit over 80 to 90 miles when you're doing highway speeds. So yes, you can get far, but the question is, it's not the bike itself, but it's the infrastructure that's around you that enables you to get far or not. And obviously, the endurance that you're going to have to take in order to maintain that pace, depending on how far you're going to go and how fast you want to get there. So, with that being said, and after having the conversation with the guys, I started brewing in my head an idea, an idea that some people may think it's crazy, some other people may not, some people think it's an adventure, but I started thinking about how about having the ability to ride across the United States with a live wire, knowing that we have good infrastructure and we can probably make a trip of that nature, within a few days, depending obviously on how far I go. So when I started brewing that idea, I started kind of just looking around at opportunities, seeing if there was such a way of doing this. And, doing research on the internet, found out that there was already a handful of people who have done some pretty epic trips, both from east to west and another four corners of the country on electric motorcycles, which were from another brand company, which kind of led me to the idea, I should be able to get across the country. So now the question is, what routes, where, and when? So with that being said, I started looking at different options, and I was lucky enough to be invited to an event in Northern California with some dear friends, electric motorcycle enthusiasts at a collective up there. And I got exposed to a little bit of a long range trip on my LiveWire. So I had the ability to ride for the first time 400 plus miles, and this we're talking about 2019, 2020. And 2020 or 2020, right in at the beginning, or no, right at the beginning, before COVID, I had the opportunity to ride all the way from San Francisco, pretty much, Santa Cruz, to Los Angeles. And as I was riding down this route, I had uh, discovered that the 5 freeway, which is the interstate that crosses California all the way, is called the West Coast Green Highway. And there is enough charging infrastructure in that road to take me all the way from the bottom part of the state, which is the borderline with Mexico, San Isidro, California, all the way to the following border, which is the Canadian border with borderlining Canada. And the question was, how long and are there enough stops for me to be able to make it on a bike? So after planning it out for a few weeks and brewing the idea on my head, and remember, we're in COVID, so at this time everybody's locked down, nobody's doing anything. It was the year 2020, and I was trying to figure out what am I gonna do for my 50th birthday. I didn't want to stay home locked up doing nothing. I didn't want to go out, obviously, because we could get in trouble with the authorities and health code violations. Because we're talking about right in the middle of COVID, that I decided on wanting to do a Mexico to Canada trip, which in theory seems easy enough, but in reality, it takes a lot of planning because you got to plan for the worst. Nobody's ever done it. So what I decided to do is I pitched it over to the guys at Harley Davidson. They loved the idea. They supported me. And on June 22nd, 2020, I decided on setting sail. So I drove down on the 21st to San Isidro, California, did a live broadcast of my intentions of what I wanted to do. And I had people following me. I had an online tracker similar to what I do now. And on that online tracker, you'd be able to see where I'm at on the route that I pre-designed, as you guys can see here. So that route was the one that I was going to take. Here's my car already ready to go, loaded up and stuff like that. And that is the final route, which is 1,412 miles. And the views that you got to see were spectacular. This is where I truly fell in love with EV road tripping. So as you can see, I celebrate my 50th at the borderline with Canada 1,400 miles later, which then leads me for my next story, which starts like this.
My name is Diego Cardenas, and I am going to try to set the Cannonball run record for an electric motorcycle cross country.
So Diego, how long have you been riding?
Dude, Hyphenate, I've been riding possibly close to 40 years now, between 35 and 40 years, give and take the time that I had a license and the time that I rode without a license in other countries.
What was your first bike?
Dude, my first bike was a Kawasaki 125cc motorcycle back in Colombia, out of all places.
So you said you want to set the EV Cannonball run. First and foremost, what's a Cannonball run?
So a Cannonball run is an unofficial race between Los Angeles, California, New York City, or vice versa, New York City to LA. It starts in a particular spot designated in LA called the Portofino Hotel down in Manhattan Beach, California, or Hermosa Beach, California. And it ends at the Red Ball Garage in Manhattan, New York.
Currently, what's the record for a motorcycle to travel that distance?
Okay, currently the record for a motorcycle is 78 hours on a gasoline powered bike. Cannot give you an estimate on what it's gonna take on an electric bike because there is no electric bike Cannonball record yet.
And you're gonna be the first one to set that record.
Hopefully I can make it, knock on wood, and God providing it, yes, I will be the first person setting it out.
So what's the longest ride you've done so far?
So last year in 2020, I took an adventure and I took off from Mexico, the borderline of Mexico, and I rode all the way across to the borderline of Canada on this red LiveWire.
Now this Cannonball run is definitely farther than that. Are you nervous for this trip?
Wow, I've been nervous for the past 6 months when I started kind of brewing the idea of wanting to do a cross country. And like anybody else, I've been thinking about the pluses, the minuses, what could happen, what could not happen based on my previous experiences. So yes, I am very nervous. There's so many variables that I have no control over. Yes, there is a level of nervousness, but if all goes well, I should be in Manhattan, New York in a short time.
I guess the biggest question is why? Why are you doing this? What's the reason?
It's a bucket list item. I just want to cross it off the list saying, I had the opportunity to do something very special and I did it. I don't want to be that guy at 90 years old in my deathbed saying, oh, I wish I could have. Knowing that I can't, why don't I do it? Another reason is I want to demonstrate to the world that with a little passion, proper planning, and with the current infrastructure we have, trips of this nature are possible now. You got to go to places you never thought you would meet in your life, have experiences that you never thought you would have, because the car forces you or the motorcycle forces you on those charge stops. And I call it a charge stop not only for the bike, but it's also for the rider.
What are you doing to kind of let the world know about this ride?
I founded a group on Facebook called the HD LiveWire Riders Group. We have a few thousand people there between the page and the group, which are diehard, loyal LiveWire guys / electric motorcycle guys. And through that venue and my Instagram page, I am gonna be doing online video as I charge. So I estimate that I'm gonna be doing roughly 48 to 50 charge stops between here and New York. I will be routinely posting videos for my journey, telling the people what I just encountered, what I'm facing, and how much fun I'm having during this process. To put this in the record books and legitimize my ride, I am gonna have an online tracker with a link, a hyperlink, that is gonna be posted on my Facebook page and on my Instagram, where you're able to click on that link and you'll see a little dot of me where I'm at any given time. And every time that I'm gonna stop and do something, I'm gonna take a picture and drop a pin there so you can see what I'm seeing. So I can, and then it also has a timer and everything of how long I've been out on the road and how many miles have I transpired since I took off. So that's how people can get a hold of me. So Facebook, social media page, the community page, and my Instagram are gonna be the three main tools where you're gonna be able to track the progress of my adventure / craziness.
I'm excited for you, and I can't wait for you to set that EV motorcycle Cannonball record. Thanks, Diego. Appreciate you sharing this journey with us.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. And I hope I influence other people to get on their bikes, map out a route, and just hit the road.
So that news hit 2 days before I set sail on my next adventure. So 6 months after I finished my main ride, I started working on routes and possible options for me to get from LA to New York. And thank God for Electrify America putting together a solid network of charging stations to help me out with that. So for the following days, I just set up shop, started working on the bike, all the preparations needed, the support that I needed, the tools that I was going to need. And I went to the Portofino hotel where you're supposed to start and got my bike ready to go so I can take off July 1st, 2021 from that hotel, an adventure of a lifetime, which was to go across the United States on a Harley Davidson LiveWire, make it across every single charging point, all the way to the Red Ball Garage in Manhattan, New York. So we set sail on July 1st, 2021 at 5:13 in the morning out of the Portofino Hotel and headed to Las Vegas, Nevada, which was our first target city that we wanted to get to. On the way there, we stopped by Barstow and a couple other checkpoints to charge up the bike, met some great people on those routes, and had no issues whatsoever, except at a charging point by Caltrans where the bike just wouldn't take charge. It eventually took charge. It got me to my final destination, and we got there. Here's the Electrify America station where we met a nice prototype vehicle, which we had no idea what it was. We made it to the evening. We rode around 366 miles all the way to the city of Mesquite, Nevada, but the bike was acting funny. It was not powering off. I ended up having to lose complete charge of the 12-volt battery, had to recharge it in order to get a slow charge going overnight at the local hotel. The following morning, we got up and early and started heading towards the Nevada-Arizona state line. We were going to go across a tidbit of Arizona in order to make it all the way to the next state. And we made it just in time to take some great pictures. This leg of the trip was fairly simple. We just had to deal with the heat keeping me hydrated, so I wore a special hydro vest with a mesh jacket in order to make it through the grueling heat of the desert. Well, we made it to Utah now. So we're in Utah, gorgeous weather, gorgeous sceneries that we were expecting to see, as you guys can tell. Some great rock and tree formations out there. Made it to the crossing sign, obviously, the state line. And here where I had a little issue, I dropped the bike at this location. There was an uneven piece of pavement, and it enabled me to drop the bike. And luckily, nothing happened to the bike, nothing major, just some couple of scratches here and there. But other than that, I was just enjoying the beautiful scenery that Utah has to offer through the I-80 corridor, or the Eisenhower Highway, which crosses pretty much all the way to the other side of the United States. Here's some great video of what we call early Castle Valley. Check this out. It is to die for. So this is our first stop in Cedar City, Utah, where we find some Electrify America stations. And here's something very interesting about this whole story. I am now charging for free. I come to find out through one of the social media networks, through another fellow EV rider, that Electrify America has now opened up every single charge point nationwide to be for free. I was having some issues charging up with them, and they told me just plug and go and you can go anywhere.
All right, so we made it to so we did, we ended up finishing Nevada yesterday, or getting to the end of Nevada yesterday. We went across Nevada, we went across Arizona, we are now in Utah, we're deep into Utah, and it's been a hell of a fun ride. Electrify America has a special event on this weekend for 4th of July, which every single charger in the nation looks like is for free. So besides my free LiveWire account that I have for 500 kilowatts, well, times 2 because I have 2 LiveWires, so I have 1 megawatt of available power. Well, now they're not charging my account. I just plug in, it charges, and it's free. So that is making it fun because I've already done over 500 miles into this trip and I haven't paid a single penny on charge cost, charging infrastructure, which is pretty damn awesome. I think I paid more, going around the block and, my car at home, when I had a gas car than this. So it's pretty cool. So the last trek we did, which was entering Utah and going deep inside, and we're in Beaver, Utah right now. It was close to 102, 103 miles uphill. So it was pretty hard on the LiveWire. So I had to get inspired and did some creative writing so I could make it up the hill. And I got here with 3 miles left over. Made it just fine. The bike is, if you guys can probably see it, down way at the end behind that silver car, being charged at the Electrify America stations. So we have now being juiced up. Bought some goggles, as you guys can tell, because there's a no helmet law here. I want to try some no helmet riding just a little bit, just for, I know it's not safe, but I just want to kind of feel the wind in my hair, right here. I'll take this off and get around. I did have a little mishap on the bike and I dropped it, broke one of my forward foot pegs, but being that I'm the manufacturer of the foot pegs, I brought an extra set. I replaced it, no harm, no foul, just a little scuff mark on the handlebar, and that was it. It wasn't a major thing. I just, what they called the ghost kickstand, but in this case it was the ghost foot. It wasn't there, came down, it was uneven pavement, and obviously I lost footing and I went down with the bike at literally 2 miles per hour, which I was coming to a stop. So made that there.
Our next stop is going to be a city called Selma, Utah. It's around 80 miles away, roughly. So we're going to hit that there. Some more mountain ranges, beautiful scenery. And that'll be the second to the last stop in Utah. I'm thinking that after that, we might just skip that last stop and make it all the way to, after that, going to our next state. And hopefully that next state will give us some additional freedoms that we don't have right now. So, according to my gear, and I'm trying to shuffle papers with one hand and hold the camera. So, we should be hitting, what are we going to hit? So, we're hitting Colorado next. So, we'll be in Colorado, hopefully by sundown. So, that's my goal. But, obviously, I can't control what's happening and how it's happening. So, I want to keep you guys up to date. I put some pictures of me going into the welcome signs because that's something I like to do with my family. We just get to the welcome sign, take a picture, say been there, done that, and move on. It's been great. Speed limit over here is 80 miles per hour on the freeways, which is a fine and dandy, but if you're on an electric bike, it just makes it tough. So I'll catch you guys later. These things are fogging up on me, so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna wear these and not fog up. So. Well, it's the end of the day, and now we are in Green River, Utah. Found the Electrify America station right next to an antique shop, which was closed, and just had some fun taking some pictures of the bike myself. It was not getting dark. I remember there was a lot of mosquitoes around. They were like, oh my God, so many mosquitoes here. But we made it. It started getting dark, as you guys can see. And right next to this Electrify America station was a conveniently placed hotel. So we just called it a night that day and stayed in that area because the following day we're going to tackle Colorado and possibly the Rockies, which is going to be a 13,000-foot climb up the hill. So at this stage of the game, I am now facing the Rockies, which is a 13,000-foot climb up, some pretty steep mountains. And I've been warned by other friends that semi-trucks have a hard time with it. So I would assume that motorcycles, especially EV motorcycles, would, suck up a lot of gas or suck up a lot of electrons. In this case, getting up those mountains. But luckily, there was a charge point charger somewhere in the middle in the city of Avon, Colorado, which kind of gave me peace of mind. But I had been having no luck with the charge point chargers. So we made it to the town of Avon, Colorado, to a charge point where I literally got on my knees and begged for it to work. So now I'm in the town of Avon, Colorado, where I just finished charging up, and now I get to face the summit, which is 13,000 feet. So we conquered the mountain. We're going down the hill, 13,000 feet. We're going to hit the Colorado Mills Mall, where we were going to stop by, get some grub, and continue our trip because our leg was a very long one to the next city, where we had a couple of charge point chargers that we were going to kind of cross our fingers and hopefully had the same luck we had at Avon, Colorado. But no luck whatsoever. So we ended up having to stay here for a good portion of the day. We had a 4-hour lunch because we could not get these DCFCs to charge up when we had to do a level 2 charge and eventually continue our trip, which is going to be a long trip. We're now in the city of Fort Morgan, Colorado. We're, one charge away from a long stretch that we're going to have, which is close to 100 miles. To be exact, it's 95 miles. I'm not exactly remembering what the terrain was, but it was pretty flat. So once we passed the Rockies, it got pretty flat. The issue here was that we tried some night riding, as you guys can tell. The problem was that our route planning software took us to a charge point station, which was probably 7 to 8 miles off the road. It's kind of fishy. Normally they're close to the road, but we trusted our route planning software, and we are driving down the highway at some regular speeds, trying to make this 95 to 100 mile stretch. And when we get to this charge point station, there is no charge point station. It's in the middle of the field, in the middle of nowhere. So we're freaking out, going, oh my God, we only have 4 miles left. And I'm looking, and the next station is literally 40 plus miles away. I'm down to 3 to 4 miles. It drops us off in the middle of the road somewhere where we have no idea where we're gonna go. So what we decide on doing is we just stopped. We found the local town, which is probably 2 miles away. We rode to the local town. This town looked like a ghost town. Nothing was around. Everything was boarded up. There was a couple of dusty old cars in the middle of the main strip. And as I'm talking to my backup guy, I'm going, okay, so what are we going to do now? What is the plan now? Where we're going? I said, okay, we're just going to cut our losses here. Let's find the closest motel or hotel nearby, get to that location, and hopefully we can charge overnight while we sleep at that hotel room and make it to the next stop. So as we're planning our move to get out of that town, which is really nothing to do there, I see a small set of headlights coming closer and closer to us. I mean, literally, there's nothing around us except boarded up rooms, boarded up offices, dusty cars, and these headlights that are coming. So I decided to hightail it out of there. So with around almost less than 0.5% of battery, made it all the way to the town of Julesburg, where we found a local motel. I think we had to sleep in some sort of quarters where dogs were allowed, but that didn't bother me. So the following morning, July 4th, we got up bright and early and hit multiple Electrify America stations to take us all the way up to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Alright, I couldn't do this as live video because there's really crappy internet here, so I'm pre-recording this and then I'll upload it later. Made it to the next stop where I had only 35 miles on the bike and it was close to 41 or 40 some miles here. I made it eventually with 3 miles to spare with some creative quote-unquote riding. Now the next stop is another dreaded charge point, which we're gonna try to bypass, and we're gonna hedge our bet and try to use green lots at another location. So we're gonna try to do another 100-mile push to there. My cell phone is also giving me issues now. My cell phone is rebooting itself. I knew this was gonna happen sooner or later. The cell phone has kind of been to hell and back a couple of times. So I'm gonna go, hopefully I can transfer this over to another cell phone in the next, I have a backup cell phone I brought, which is one of the to-do things when you do road tripping like this, you have to have a backup cell phone. And learned this from my good old friend, Charlie Borman, which he told me a story where he went to the bathroom once to take a dump, and then he heard something that flopped into the tub into the toilet seat before he did anything, and it was a cell phone. And he says, take a second phone just in case, which I did. And it's ready to go. All I gotta do is swap out SIMs and do that stuff. But why don't I do it now? It's because the tracker that everybody's seen me with is tied to an application called Blue Lane. And if I transfer the SIM over, it doesn't transfer any of the tracking information that we have. So I'm probably gonna have to get on the phone with support with bluelane.com or bluelane.io, ask them if there's any way I can transfer the tracking information from this phone to the other phone, the burner phone that I have, so I can continue the voyage on the older iPhone that I have, and hopefully I can get this done. So we have another big 100-mile push. After that, we can jump over to Iowa, which is what the goal was, but might be at nighttime, and I'm not sure how late that's going to be. So we got another 30 minutes here at Electrify America, where we're charging right now, and we made it here. Now we're going to go for another push. Might do a little dusk riding, hitting towards the night, but we'll see. Part of the adventure, as I say, so it's all a part within the adventure setting. So we'll take care of it then, and then I hope to see you guys tomorrow, if not later on tonight. Bye.
So it's 4th of July, midnight. We arrived to Lincoln, Nebraska. Fireworks are lighting up the sky. The city named after the president. And we find a local hotel called The Graduate, where they were kind enough to let us park right in front. As a matter of fact, this picture is taken right before I took the bike down to the bottom, where they had Tesla chargers, and obviously I level 2 topped off the bike there. So after a few more stops, we made it all the way to Defiance Harley Davidson, and they had a charge point station that we needed to use there, and everything worked out just fine. Hung out with some of the locals there, some of the staff, told them about what I was doing. Some of the people were also doing their own road tripping with regular gasoline bikes, which is pretty nice. We met a couple of people. And then at the end of our visit, a guy with a retro bike comes over and says, dude, I've never seen a LiveWire. So, dude, I've never seen your bike. We did a little photo op right there of the old versus new, old school, new school. And we had a blast with the guys at Defiance HD. That led us to kind of ace Nebraska and leave to the next state, which is Iowa.
All right, let's get this show on the road, ladies and gentlemen. I am now in the city of Avoca, Iowa, probably 30 miles into the borderline with Nebraska. Some of you have asked what happened that you guys were tracking me, and I went into Iowa and then turned around and went back to Nebraska, then I came back to Iowa. Well, making it my family and I always make it a habit or a custom to every single time we're going to a country or to a city, we take a picture at the welcome sign, wherever that welcome sign may be. If it's at the airport, welcome to such and such airport, or welcome to such and such city. So I missed Nebraska when I came in a day or so ago. Couldn't find it, or either missed it, or to some construction I think is probably down at the moment. So we made it on to Nebraska, and on the way out, we decided on heading back to Nebraska, getting the picture of the Nebraska Welcome to Nebraska sign, and then heading back over to Iowa and getting the picture of Iowa. So we made it out there. We took the picture, but now I couldn't find the Iowa one. So now we're inside the city of Avoca again. Iowa, we're probably 50 miles into Iowa. Hopefully we'll be clearing Iowa at late afternoon, and then in the evening I'll hopefully be hitting Illinois, which is what I want to be doing. And obviously from there down it's just 800 miles to New York. Hey, hola Revista Motoción, ¿cómo estamos? Hopefully we can make it out of the state by the end of the day. I'm being hopeful. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Issues right now still. Cell phone is an issue. I cannot swap it out for my second phone, because if I swap it out, then I lose all the tracking that I'm providing online. So the tracking cannot be exported or put it to another phone. So I'm going to have to deal with this phone going in and out online and keeping that tracking alive. Hopefully it just doesn't die on me until the end, until after the end of the trial. Saludos a los de la revista Motoción desde Chile, de parte de su colaborador Diego Cárdenas. Estamos hablando, ahí nos hablamos para una entrevista, ¿vale? So what was I saying? So the idea is to try to get out of the state by the end of the day, and then from that moment on, it's just 800 miles to New York City. Hopefully I can make it really, really quick. You're at the hideout. Tell hi to the guys, Eddie. I'm probably less than if I make my final stop, probably 800 or so miles away from New York, which should be a day or two riding time. And if I push it hard, I can do 500 miles in 14, 15, 16 hours. So I can technically finish this in less than 24 if I really needed to. So you work for the electric company on this? Oh, thanks, dude. Hey, look, we better service than this you can't get, man. Look at that. They called it in, and they're already here fixing it. I'm riding all the way from LA.
Oh, you charging that?
Yeah, I'm charging that. This one didn't want to work. That one's broken. It says it's offline. So, look. So they have the electric guy here already. Jesus Christ! And I just called it in a few minutes ago. So it's crazy. So let's see how it goes. I mean, guys, not out to set a world record. My personal goal is to be there in 7 days. And that would meet the original Cannonball run for the first car that ever did this run back in 1917. So an electric motorcycle would meet that. That would be a nice kind of way to end this trip. But I don't know yet. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I can't control. So if I can do that in 7 days, that'd be awesome. And then from then on, the floods are open. Anybody want to cannonball it? Go for it. Take it, run with it, try your best at making it happen. It's fun. I'll tell you this right now. The route that I took, the northern route, the sights, the sounds, the people, the food, everything is just to die for, man. Especially riding the Rockies, man. I had so much fun riding those Rockies. I wish I could go back up and down that 14,000 mile steep climb. But nevertheless, Iowa, we're gonna try to conquer this beast next, and then we'll go to Chicago, and then we'll head down south, heading towards our landing pad, New York. All right, guys. Ciao. It's literally, I pulled up into here. There was Chevy Volt here earlier on today. He charged up. While I called these guys, which is Mid-America Energy Company, and told them that this unit wasn't working, these guys left here. I pulled in and charged. Then all of a sudden, their service tech comes here, and now he's fixing it. If it would only be this good back in California, where you can go days on end and nobody shows up. But nevertheless, awesome. Mid-America Energy Company got thumbs up on my side. This was free, by the way, so I'm not bitching about it. Hopefully the rest of them are also free. That would keep me in line for a 17-cent cross-country run. So hopefully I can set a record on that side. Do cross-country in the United States for 17 cents or less. So you can beat that record. Nah, I don't think it's going to be that easy, but it'll be a hell of a freaking story if I do pull it off. So let's check this out. Look, there's the big-ass cables that please do not touch, especially the red ones. And then there's your board. My dad used to do these things when I was a kid. I remember when you seeing these things at home being built from the ground up. And then obviously they're here working, fixing the stuff. So thought I'd show you guys how efficient these guys are out here and how cool. Here's my little staging area so I don't have to soak up the sun. I kick it here. There's my dinner, my lunch. And then here's my helmet, my jacket, and there's the bike. I just sit my ass down here and watch the people go by, and they come over and ask and talk, and I'm just drinking my BOK water, my Coke, and enjoying the ride. So I hope you guys are enjoying the show as much as I am. Bye. Alright, boys and girls, so we're still in Iowa. We're about to leave. Just finished charging at the Mid-American Energy Company station, and I just found out we have no helmet law here. So guess what I'm going to be doing today? Riding with no helmet, at least for 70 miles to the next charge stop, to the next Mid-American charging station. So with that being said, I'll take some video as I'm riding along. Shit, I might not even do gloves. That might be overrated here. Yeah, let's not do gloves. Not that many times I get to do this. No gloves, no helmet. Just like back when I was a kid in Colombia and we rode with sandals, shorts, t-shirts, and a lot of will and determination not to get screwed by the other cars. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next stop. Bye.
So we put in a long, long day and we make it all the way to Illinois, where we were trying to just find a hotel, get some shut eye so we can get out of there as soon as possible early in the morning.
So, I'm not even gonna say who the fuck I am because I am who I am. What's going on, people? Diego here, and I did say who I am. I am now in, I think it's called Jeunesse, Illinois. So we made it to the home state of good old President Lincoln. We are now charging up the bad boy, and I'll show you where she's at. And let's see where she's at right now. She's right here. Here she is. I did a little night riding today because I got caught at night, but we are now in Illinois, and we're charging. She's at 27%. We're probably gonna call it a night, and we clean the lens because it looks dirty. It looks better now. We are now at 27%. We're probably less than 100, around 100 miles from Chicago, Illinois. So hopefully we'll clear this state and the next one tomorrow. I'm hearing that the road is a lot easier now. It's a lot shorter to get through states, and it's going to be a fun adventure getting to the landing zone, which is Manhattan, in the next day or two, I guess, if all goes well. You know, can't make any promises, but we are here now. Bike's still running awesome. I had to do a little deviation on the plans of my original route because I'm just afraid of charge points right now. I'm shying away from them, so I had to kind of do an alternate route, which is one of the reasons why I didn't tell anybody where I was going and how I was getting there, because if I told you that I was going to be at a particular spot, so if I don't make the spot, then I don't want people to show up and do stuff like that. So what's been planned? So the idea is to start doing the home stretch, start heading south, which is phase 2 of my plan. Phase 1 was getting here. I got us here now. Now it's phase 2 is heading down south. Okay, we're back. So I had to turn off some Wi-Fi stuff because it's connecting to the DVR that I have on the motorcycle. The DVR doesn't get any internet. So yeah, we're gonna head down south towards, start heading towards Pennsylvania and some of these other states below us, so we can start lining ourselves up with New York and landing in Manhattan in the next couple of days and calling this a trip, calling it a wrap. So we're still not done yet, guys, but we're at the home stretch. Hopefully we'll get there soon, and we will make history together here, being the first LiveWire or first EV by Harley Davidson that is going across the United States and a Cannonball run. Trying to look for a hotel now. There's not much around here except gas stations, a highway, and that's it. There's some big ass wind farms out here. Might take a picture or two with the bike in front of them before we find a room where to crash, and then obviously start bright and early tomorrow and do another 14-16 hour riding day, and then hopefully we can get out there. So for now, I am saying goodbye and enjoy your night, guys, and it's been fun riding around the country with this thing. So we'll see how it goes, guys. Be safe. Au revoir.
So we got up really early that morning to try to beat traffic and try to get into the main city in Illinois, because we knew traffic was going to be really, really bad. We got stuck there for a few hours because of traffic gridlock. We were hitting downtown probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But eventually we broke free and we hit to the next state, which was Indiana. And hopefully we can get a good chunk of that state done, because we knew we were going to hit some nice roads after that. So once we hit Indianapolis, Indiana, we got into the turnpikes. And for those of you who don't understand what a turnpike is, basically it's a stretch of highway that you go into like a toll road, but you pay the toll at the end of the turnpike. Both Indiana and Ohio share a turnpike system that is pretty awesome. Like I said, you pay at the end of the turnpike. It ends for 8 miles, and then you connect to the second state's turnpike, and you pretty much can go across the whole state. It has all the amenities, including charge stops, hotel stops, and rest stops. So we got up bright and early that morning because we knew we were kind of getting closer to the target date and target time. So we hit the first Electrify America down in Pennsylvania, and we met up some nice people out there. This person happened to be charging his brand new week-old ID4, which was pretty awesome to see that car on the wild. And in the meantime, while we charged our bike, we could tell that the weather was pretty nasty, and we knew that something was up. We just didn't know exactly what it was. On our next stop, we met up with Rich. He's a well-known EV trekker. He's done the four corners of the United States. He's also done East Coast, West Coast, but not Cannonball run style. We met up, shook some hands, traded some stories, and it was great for him to make the trip and try to find me where I was at. But as we got out, we noticed that it was windy and it was raining cats and dogs, and the storm hit us hard to the point that we had to literally stop. We spent roughly 3 to 4 hours waiting for this storm to stop, which it eventually did. We know that hard storms come and go real quick because we needed to make up some time. So we got back on the bike and did some night riding, but we also got slammed with more water at night. So we decided to get into Pennsylvania that night, and we had targeted a charging station at a small college town for the miles up. During this time period, I suited up, got myself some rain gear on top of the gear that I already had, which was already wet, and tried to set sail all the way to Pennsylvania, finishing this part of the state. The issue we had here is that during night riding, a lot of the critters go out and play. This meant that I had to be extra careful. My GPS system took me through some mountain range to get across to the city where the charger was located. And this mountain range I ran into a couple of these guys. They decided on crossing the highway as I was doing 45, 50 miles per hour. And when I saw them, it was either me or them. So I just went ahead and continued on my road. And I'm sorry for the little rabbit.
All right. I'm a little bit hyped up now. It's around what? I think 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I have no idea what time it is. My eyes are droopy. I'm tired. Everything hurts, as you guys could probably imagine that it does. I am 80 miles away from Manhattan, 80 miles away from the Red Ball Garage, which is the official ending point of the Cannonball run. Hopefully I'll be there within the next hour. Pop open some champagne, or not champagne, some apple cider. I don't get busted by the New York cops. And pour it on my hair and say, I've done it. I went across the United States on an all EV motorcycle. So give me an hour or so. I'm suiting up right now. I'm heading down there depending on traffic. I should be there in an hour, and I'll track the time and I'll see what it took the first electric motorcycle to go across the United States in a Cannonball run. And that'll be me. All right, guys. Catch you guys in an hour. Bye. So I'm around 40 miles away from Manhattan. I'm pumped. I had no pain. I'm ready to go. But little did I know that I was going to get another storm plus the New York traffic on top of me. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. We are now in Manhattan. It took us, 4 hours to get into the city and countless amounts of tolls because getting into Manhattan is a
pain in the you know what. But we made it in. Stopped raining while we got there, which is pretty cool. It rained on the way in here, soaked me to death, but we made 2,815 miles in around 7 days, 10 hours, few minutes, and a few seconds, which was pretty goddamn lucky if I wanted to say so myself. In addition to that, the day that I arrived, which was July 7th, was the birthday for the new LiveWire company. So Harley Davidson spun off the LiveWire and made it its own company. And with that, I leave you guys here with some final thoughts on this whole trip, which were pretty much get up there, plan a route, get on your bike, and enjoy the ride. With that being said, guys, it's been a pleasure. I want to thank everybody who supported me throughout this whole ordeal, including my wife, my family, my crazy stunts. I know my wife was not too happy when I decided I wanted to do this, but she said, if that's going to make you happy, so be it. She put some conditions, such as my backup driver who was following me just in case something happened to me. Because originally I was going to go on it alone, but she insisted and said, nope, you can't do it alone. So now you are going to have to do it with somebody else, which I did. And I want to really give heads up to my driver, Peter. He stepped up to the plate. He had no idea what he was getting into, the long hours, the intensity of what I can be when I'm really focused on wanting to do something. But he followed. And at the end, he was pushing me to make the numbers. You know, I was going, dude, let's stop now, 300 miles. No. He goes, we can do another run. We'll get another stop. And he would push me, and he really got into this as much as I was. So some of the parting words is thank you, Lord. Thank you, all the support that I had from the get-go, keeping your eyes on me on the road. Nothing drastic happened to me. I also want to thank BLK Water for providing the hydration for this whole trip. We went through 12 cases. Each case had 6 bottles of water. No, not 6, 12 bottles of water. So we went through a lot of water with minerals, which kind of kept me afloat, kept me hydrated, kept me alive. And also at the same time, I wanted to thank VCP Helmets here in Whittier, California, for hooking up some of the gear that I had. And obviously Harley Davidson and all the people who I talked to, and was along with for the ride. It was an honor, a pleasure to ride with all of you alongside on social media. I know you guys were there for me, rooting and asking and inquiring where I was and how I was doing. But we made it, guys. Gosh, it's such a hard thing to let go of. I mean, it's right now, you know, I think about doing another one, but give me 6 months. Maybe the next one will be coming down the pipeline. And if we do that, it'll be a hell of a story for you and I. So for now, guys, enjoy the ride, enjoy the roads, get yourself an electric motorcycle, go places, which is a lot cheaper than doing it on gas-powered bikes. But also, if you want a gas-powered bike, go do some touring. Jump on it, plan a route, go for a weekend, go for 2 weeks. It's a fun thing to do, guys. So with that being said, I say goodbye till the next one.
All right, guys, so we made it all the way from LA to New York City. We are here at the end of what they officially call a Cannonball run. This is the Red Ball Garage. Here's the LiveWire. Here I am. It is currently 6:30 more or less in the afternoon. And wow, what a journey. It's been crazy. I left on July 1st, 2021 at 5:13 in the morning. And from there, I've crossed roughly 11 states and close to 3,000 miles. I'll put some final details on this post, okay? I want to first tell you guys that 99.9% of this journey was free of charge when it came to the electricity. I was lucky enough that I left on July 4th, 2021, or the weekend of July 4th, 2021. And that happened to be the weekend that Electrify America freed up its route, and it said free charging or complimentary charging for everybody, which meant that I was able to ride free charging all the way from California to roughly Iowa. Once I got to Iowa, I had to pay here and there once in a while, but I think I haven't done the numbers yet, obviously, because I just got here right now. But I'm guessing it's not going to be more than $13-12 that I've done in out of network charges for other suppliers. If I didn't use Electrify America, I would use ChargePoint, which I had some success on at the Harley dealership levels. Outside, I only had one machine that worked for me in Avon, Colorado. Other than that, guys, it's a hell of a story. I mean, I'm probably gonna try to write up something on it. I'm not good at writing. I'll probably do another video relating everything that I've done with this up to now. But I hope you guys that were with me throughout the journey appreciated what it is to do a long-range trip on an EV. The good things, the bad things, and anything that comes along. I'll tell you this right now, the toughest part of all this was this last day. Torrential rain started yesterday. I left, there was spotty rain on and off, and as soon as I got into New York, welcome to New York City traffic, and a rainstorm that literally soaked me, the bike. My phone, my regular phone is charging. I'm hoping that it will charge. So it's been a crazy journey going across the country with you guys here. And I'm just hoping that sometime in the near future you guys can do it as well. I'll put up some more words. I just want to make sure that the official time is here. Right now, 6:36 in the afternoon. I got here like 10 minutes ago, so it's like 6:26. So from 5:13 in the morning, July 1st to July 8th, 6:26, I was able to do 3,000 miles, and I'll tell you the exact mileage right now that my blue lane is saying. Let's go to blue lane before the phone crashes again. Blue lane. According to blue lane, we've done 2,794 miles. 2,794 miles, which is pretty, I'm sorry, 2,815. I just updated it right now to the new location. 2,815 miles. There it is. It is currently 6:30 in the afternoon, and I am going to drop a pin right now for you guys and add a photo, take a photo. And the phone just crashed because of the torrential rain. It soaked up so much water, it's not working right. So I'll try to get a photo up as soon as I can, but there's a time, there's a date, there's a mileage. We'll do the math later. I just wanted to say thank you very much, everybody. Wow, what an experience, and I'll put on some other words down the line. So be safe, everybody, and hope you guys could do some road tripping yourself. Bye. So we just finished riding 3,000 miles on that electric motorcycle out there. We did it on 11 states, 40-some, almost 50 stops, and we made it across the country on that bike alone with less than $30 in spending cash. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for following me. It's been great. Cheers. This is to the next trip that I'm going to do. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.